What's up, YouTube? Pokemon Champions comes out in a couple of days, and I've been testing extensively to figure out what is the team I'm going to be wanting to run day one on Ranked. I have been testing mostly weather teams, and honestly, the team I have found the most success with by far is actually the Rain team, but it's a weird take on the Rain team. As you can see, I'm not using Pelipper, and I'm going to explain all my weird choices and why I think this is going to be the most successful team for me and anyone who just wants to start their ranked journey with. So from my early testing on Showdown, what I figured out pretty quickly was weather is going to be incredibly prominent in the early days of Pokemon Champions, with the four biggest weather teams being Mega Frostlass teams, Tyranitar teams, Mega Charizard teams, and then Pelipper Rain teams. Now, I want to play a little bit of weather, but I don't want my team to be completely dedicated to weather and have to win the weather wars in order to win the game. Because honestly, after 10 matches in a row of that, it gets old pretty quickly. So I decided to go the route of I'm going to sort of play the weather wars, but I'm going to rely on a different engine to win the match. And I found Dondozo just to be a tried and true way of beating people, because when people are testing new things, they're trying to be cute and quirky. Well, boosted stats on an Earthquake can pretty much ruin that. And that has definitely been the case so far in Pokemon Showdown, and I think it's really just a great way to climb ranked. So I want to be playing Dondozo Week 1 of Champions. Now, of course, you can't just win with a Dondozo right from the get-go. You need to sort of have an opening sequence and then a ending sequence after the Dondozo is KO'd. And the team that I found to be really strong for this is using Politoed with either Incineroar or Arc-Aludon. And I didn't think Politoed would be the Pokemon that I'm using the most because, well, when I think Rain teams right now, I'm thinking Pelipper. That's what most people are leaning to. But I found Politoed to be an absolute powerhouse because of two abilities. The first one is Icy Wind. Basically, what Icy Wind does is give their Pokemon lowered speed stats. So it really just sets up the Dondozo incredibly nicely because, you know, you're getting that double speed on the Dondozo. So if they get hit with Icy Wind a couple of times and they refuse to switch out, then, you know, Dondozo is just going to decimate them, as well as, you know, if they try to switch their Pokemon in, they sort of know that an Earthquake can knock out that switch in, so they're going to avoid that. So I really found Politoed to just be really strong, and on top of that, I found Encore to just be a really strong punishing move. And then the Weather Ball is really nice, especially in the Mega Charizard match, because Weather Ball, when they change the weather away from rain, you can just one-shot their Venusaur, which, you know, feels really nice. And Politoed is just so tanky. It can survive a solar beam. It can survive an electro shock. I can't believe how beefy. It's a big boy and it can take a beating. And because of that, I found it doesn't need Focus Sash because it never goes down that much. The only reason I would switch from Focus Sash is if you want to have more special attack and you're taking away from that bulk. But honestly, really beefy Politoed can really just carry you. And then because of how bulky it is, it's going to survive for the end. So when your last Pokemon after Dondozo gets knocked out is Tatsugiri Mega and Politoed, then the Drizzle is going to power up that Muddy Water, make you do a bunch of damage, and, you know, an Icy Wind or two is really going to set it up so the Tatsugiri is going to sweep. So I've just been really liking Politoed more than Pelipper, and honestly, I don't think I would change because, well, Encore just feels so good, and it's just a really strong, beefy tank and can survive hits, which is really important. So that's why I like Politoed. Works at the very beginning and can work as that ending mon. Now, the next one that I'm going to be using a lot is Incineroar. I don't really need to explain why Incineroar is so strong. Incineroar is like one of the best Pokemon in the game. Know how to use the parting shot, know when to use fake out, and you're going to be in a good time. Now, knockoff isn't confirmed in the game, so people are testing with Darkest Lariat. I found it to be okay. I'm mainly using Flare Blitz a lot because Flare Blitz is just like really good at knocking out a lot of the pesky things that are hard to knock out on a Dondozo team. So I've been really liking Incineroar. Now, besides the Dondozo engine, the Incineroar, and the Politoed, the other two Pokemon that are in this team are going to be Basculegion, which is a really strong rain sweeper, which I primarily use if I don't go the Dondozo Tatsugiri route in every match. Now, in best of one, I'll most likely always go Dondozo Tatsugiri, but if there's a best of 3 option, Basculegion's coming in hot. It's a great way to win. And then we have Archaludon. Archaludon is really powerful in terms of knocking out a couple of pesky teams, one being the Mega Frostlass team, which is going to come up a ton. Just spamming Flash Cannon, it just does really well against ice, so it's definitely feeling really, really good there. And then if you're able to stick the Rain Electro Shot powering up your attack, and then a powered up Draco Meteor is usually enough to take out an opposing Archaludon, which I think is really important because you don't want their Archaludon to get too juiced up before your Dondozo comes out. So I think that's really, really important to have that mon. I don't think my Archaludon's EVs are perfect yet. I'm still trying to figure it out because you want your Archaludon to be faster than theirs while also being able to survive 2 attacks before it can KO their Archaludon, and then needs enough juice to be able to Draco Meteor knock out theirs. So that's a lot of things going on to do that, and well, it's going to take a couple of weeks to really fine tune that. That's where I have it now, but that's definitely not perfect. So basically the team most of the time, it's going to be Politoed Incineroar or Politoed Archaludon. Set up those early turns, set up some really nice fake outs, get some parting shots in, and then switch into Dondozo. Then you're going to switch your Politoed out after it's done some Icy Wind, do some Encores as a really nice setup. Switch it to Tatsugiri, set up the Dondozo. Dondozo goes Burr, and then after Dondozo gets KO'd, you can put in the Incineroar to get the attack boost from the Tatsugiri, or if your Incineroar got knocked out at the beginning, you can have Politoed do the Drizzle to power up Muddy Water. And that is pretty much going to win you so many matches. There are, of course, Pokemon to watch out. Like, a lot of people are using Sinistcha, which is like the matcha version of Sinistea. And that has a lot of healing. And Matcha Gotcha is really annoying for this team. But if you knock out everything but the Sinistcha at the end, because of how tanky Tatsugiri Mega is, basically all you need to do is one nasty plot, Draco Meteor. It's going to knock that little annoying healer out of the park. Honestly, Sinistcha is the most annoying Pokemon for this team, and since most teams run it, I would say about 70% of teams I've seen have Sinistcha in it. That is going to be the main thing that you got to worry about. But most of the other things that are like ways to beat this team, you can definitely get around it. You just need to play around with the team a little bit. So I would definitely say practice on Showdown a little bit before Pokemon Champions comes out. And definitely try out Politoed instead of Pelipper. I've been having a lot more success, but let me know in the comments what you think, because in terms of raw stats, Pelipper is nicer, but people are playing more ways to get around Pelipper, and it's just nicer to have like a rogue Pokemon in terms of climbing ranked. So that's why I'm leaning on Politoed. And I'm going to be putting out a lot of guides for champions when it comes out. Just started this YouTube channel. I would really appreciate it if you hit that subscribe and join me on my Pokemon Champions journey. So see you guys next time with another Pokemon Champions video.